In 2025, a team of scientists opened up a strand of DNA that shouldn't exist. It belonged to a man who lived 200,000 years ago in a cave in Siberia. His bones told one story, his genes told another. Buried inside his genetic code was a signature that matched no known human, no known Neanderthal, no known Denisovan. Something else had been there. Something with no name, no skull, no fossil anyone has ever held in their hand. Scientists call it a ghost, and it isn't the only one hiding inside you. Here's why that matters. We've mapped the entire human genome. We've built machines that can watch a living brain think in real time. And yet, 3 of the biggest questions about what it means to be human are still wide open. Where we actually came from, why your mind builds entire worlds every single night while you sleep, and what is actually happening physically when you feel anything at all. Researchers are closer than they've ever been to answering all 3, but as you're about to see, getting closer has only made the mystery stranger. The story starts in 2010 with a single pinky bone found in Denisovan cave deep in Siberia's Altai Mountains. When scientists extracted DNA from it, they found something that didn't belong to any known species. They named this lost population the Denisovans, after the cave. And the shock didn't stop there. Evidence showed they had interbred with our own ancestors long before recorded history began. For 15 years, that mystery sat mostly unsolved. Then, in 2025, everything moved at once. Researchers sequencing an older, more complete Denisovan genome found that this individual's ancestors had interbred with early Neanderthals and also carried DNA from an unknown super-archaic group, one science has never matched to any fossil. Traces of these ghost lineages have also turned up in the DNA of modern humans, and scientists still aren't sure who they belong to. They could be an already known extinct species we simply haven't linked to this DNA yet, or something we haven't even found. That same year, researchers finally solved the identity of a massive, mysterious skull nicknamed Dragon Man, discovered decades earlier in China. The verdict: it belonged to a Denisovan, the first time this ancient population finally had a face. But the strangest twist came from a different kind of study entirely. Geneticists modeling deep patterns across modern human DNA proposed something that breaks the textbook story. By some estimates, modern humans trace as much as 20% of their ancestry to a ghost lineage that split off from us nearly 1.5 million years ago, long before Homo sapiens even existed as a species. For decades, the accepted story was simple: one population, one origin, one line stretching back through Africa. This new research suggests our species might actually be a fusion, 2 ancient populations merging into one, and one of them still has no face, no bones, no name. So somewhere in your own cells right now, there may be a fragment of a species no scientist has ever seen. That's not solved. That's a door that just cracked open. And it isn't the only part of you that scientists still can't explain. Every night, your brain builds an entire world, populates it with people, gives you a body to move through it, and then deletes almost all of it by morning. On average, people spend roughly 2 hours a night dreaming. That's thousands of hours over a lifetime spent inside stories your own mind invents for a reason nobody has proven. Ancient civilizations had an answer. The Mesopotamians and the Egyptians believed dreams were messages sent down from the gods. Modern science replaced that idea with brain scans and lab experiments. But even now, there is still no single agreed-upon reason why humans dream. One leading theory is almost unsettling in how practical it sounds. Dreams exist to rehearse danger. Researchers analyzing large sets of recorded dreams found that about 2/3 of them contained at least one kind of threat, an accident, a chase, a disaster. And in roughly half of those dreams, the dreamer responded the way they would in real life, running, hiding, reacting with logic. That's not random noise. That looks like practice. Except the theory falls apart the moment you remember your own dreams. Most of them aren't threatening at all. They're bizarre. Timelines blur. Strangers become old friends. Physics stops applying. If dreams exist purely to train us for danger, why do so many of them make no sense at all?
Brain scans hint at an answer. During dreaming, the regions tied to movement and sensory experience light up almost as if you were awake, while the areas responsible for logic and self-awareness go nearly silent. Some researchers now suspect dreaming isn't one single function at all. It may be several overlapping systems firing at once: memory sorting, threat rehearsal, and something closer to a side effect of a brain that simply never fully powers down. So the truth is stranger than a simple answer. Every night, your brain might be running several different unexplained programs at the exact same time, and no one has fully cracked what any of them are actually for. Here's a question that sounds simple until you actually try to answer it. Right now, you're hearing these words. You understand them. There's something it feels like to be you in this exact moment. Scientists call that conscious experience. And after more than 100 years of neuroscience, there is still no definitive explanation of what consciousness actually is, how it happens, or why it exists at all. For years, two major theories fought for the title of the answer. One says consciousness comes from information being unified and processed together across the brain. The other says it comes from information being broadcast widely, like a signal announced to the whole system at once. Both had passionate supporters. Both had gaps. So, in 2025, a massive international team did something rare in science. They didn't defend a theory, they tried to kill both of them. In a large adversarial test published in Nature, researchers pitted the two leading theories of consciousness directly against each other. The result wasn't a clean victory for either side. Each theory correctly predicted some patterns of brain activity, and each one failed to predict others. Then, just months later, one of the most respected neuroscientists in the world stood in front of an audience and raised an even bigger possibility. What if the brain isn't where consciousness is created at all? What if it's closer to a receiver than a source? It's a controversial idea and far from proven, but the fact that a serious scientist is asking it publicly tells you something. After a century of trying, the most personal experience you will ever have, the simple fact of being aware, still doesn't have an agreed-upon scientific explanation. 3 separate fields of science, 3 separate teams of researchers, chasing 3 completely different questions. Where did we come from? Why do we dream? What is awareness, really? And in 2025 and 2026 alone, each one of them got closer to an answer, and each one also got stranger. A ghost population with no face, still folded into your DNA. A dreaming brain running programs nobody can fully name. A conscious mind that 2 competing scientific theories still can't fully explain. Maybe that's the real puzzle behind the title of this video. We spent centuries pointing telescopes at the stars, searching for something unknown out there. But some of the strangest, least understood territory in the entire universe might be a few inches behind your own eyes. You are, quite literally, one of the biggest unsolved mysteries science has ever tried to study. And somehow, you're the one it's happening to. If stories like this make you see yourself a little differently, subscribe, because the next mystery science hasn't solved yet might be even closer to home.